I was so impressed. She had been on a sailing boat for 3 weeks, and she just stepped out and had this amazing speech, as always. She was talking a lot about having everyone involved in the climate change discussion, and I think that was a very important message. I think we should work more on involving everyone. For example, today at COP, the indigenous representatives had a meeting with the COP presidency, and I think that's also a question we could talk more about in the Nordic countries. It's hard to talk about tendencies or trends at this early moment. This is just the beginning of the negotiations. This is also the more technical part of the negotiations. But one theme that I see as very positive is, of course, that youth issues are on the agenda and are talked about a lot. Then, of course, it's always the danger that it's all these festive speeches and empty words. So I really hope that this will be a fruitful meeting.
The Nordic cooperation has hosted a COP25 event.
I think it's a very nice and cool initiative. First, I was maybe a bit skeptical because it's always very difficult with like the technology and getting everything to work. But what I find positive is that there is a lot of different types of actors also in Stockholm. There are climate researchers, there are businesses, there are youth organizations, and also a youth climate movement in the same place. One topic very dear for me is, of course, biodiversity. And I think that the link between climate change and biodiversity has also been brought up a lot in Stockholm, which is positive.
If you were to travel...
This is, of course, a difficult question. 2030 is not that far away. 11 years is not that far away. Gretha Thunberg was speaking a lot about how it is impossible to have a sustainable lifestyle today. She was speaking about the ridiculousness of her taking the sailboat. So I think we need to have a discussion on how we should implement the Paris Agreement. How will people's lives look like? How will we travel when we don't travel by plane? What will we eat in the future? I think it's easy to talk about consumption or sustainable consumption as just skipping the unnecessary shopping. But we will need to consume. We will need medicine, we will need food. So I think that's the difficult part in this discussion.